Oh yeah, and he was in Hateful Eight too.
Yeah, he had the small role in Hateful Eight.
Yeah, even though he was there the entire time.
Ooh. Spoilers! You're listening to the all-new CultureCast, Chicagoland's finest podcast.
Welcome, boys and girls, to the newest edition of the all-new Culture Cast. I am the Gorehound, and with me is...
Nick.
Hey, Nick.
I'm
How's it
sorry.
going?
It's pretty good. I'm sorry. I just wanted to undercut your excitement there just because I'm an a-hole like that.
That's all right. That's all right.
So how are you doing today, Gorehound?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I am finally sitting down and podcasting away a lackluster day.
It sounds like the start of a poem or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the all-new CultureCast poem, podcasting away to a lackluster day. What made today so lackluster?
It's just a whole bunch of slow work. I got a ticket that I had to dispute. Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on. So, how about your day?
Today wasn't too bad. It's been shockingly busy at work, and I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be so busy this week, which I guess is not a bad thing, but it did sort of take a lot out of me. I know we were supposed to record this episode actually yesterday, and I was just beaten down to the ground, and I needed a night to get to bed early and unwind. So it's been a very, very hectic at work. So it is what it is. I can't complain too much.
What are we talking about this week?
Tonight we're going to do a sequel to our episode from 2 weeks ago, in the interest of, I guess, fair time or fair side or whatever it is. 2 weeks ago we talked about things that we don't like but everyone else does. Today we're going to do the reverse of that, talk about things that we like that is universally disliked by other people. And by other people, I think pretty much the consensus on the internet, which I know is
Yeah.
which I know is by and large not a true testament to anything. I guess we'll have to, at the end of this episode, we'll have to turn in our internet cool cards because we're going to talk about some things that are generally frowned upon in the circles of the internet there.
Yeah.
So I think each of us have about 4 or 5 things that we're going to chat about, and we're just going to say why we like it and kind of go from there. So,
Yeah.
Gorehound, let's start with you. What's the first thing on your list?
First thing that came to my mind are bad sci-fi films that aren't Sharknado. I love all these really bad science fiction movies, or commonly called mockbusters, that are just rip-offs of popular movies that have just come out. So, for instance, Mad Max Fury Road just came out, and the Asylum put out Road Wars.
God bless the Asylum.
I mean, I absolutely love this production company, even though most all of their films are just awful, unwatchable. If you look at the reviews on IMDb or Redbox or Netflix, people hate these movies, and they are really bad. But I just get so much out of them. Partially because a lot of times I don't want to watch anything, too intriguing. I just want to watch something stupid or ridiculous that's not a comedy, like The Office or something like that. And that's what this does. And I say that aren't Sharknado because I feel like Sharknado is a very popular thing that everybody loves.
Yes, that's true.
But it's not the only bad sci-fi movie out there. If you come to accept that Sharknado is entertaining, I get pleasure out of this, you just open up your mind to all these other ones, such as Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. Or what are some other ones that...
Transmorphers.
Yeah, I mean, these are just awesome stuff.
I remember about, oh my goodness, close to 10 years ago, for one summer, I worked at a Blockbuster Video. Remember those, folks? And that's when I really first started learning about the Asylum. Because they would put out these films right around the same time that the popular movie would be coming out. Like when Transformers came out, they had Transmorphers. When Indiana Jones came out, they had Alan Quarterman and the City of Gold, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I'd look at them like, how do they get away with this? And I've never really seen them, but I'm transfixed by this idea, and I think it's just absolutely brilliant that this company is able to do this and get away with it, and I applaud them for that. I also remember, and I wish that we had known each other around this time, 10 or so years ago, because we hadn't met yet. I wish that we knew each other, because at the time, I distinctly remember the Asylum. This is before they got really big. On their website, they had open submissions that if you wanted to work for them, you could like fill out a form, and they would contact you. Now, I never actually did it because I didn't have any idea for some stupid movie or something. But, oh man, if I was the person I am now back then, I totally would have done it.
Yeah.
It's sad. They don't have that anymore. That's the thing. I remember I looked a couple years later, and they've since taken that away. They're probably too big, and they don't actually need the submissions. But yeah, the Asylum's great. Sometimes they had some weird stuff, because I remember...
Yeah, some of them kind of veer away from the sci-fi or horror, which I haven't really seen a whole lot.
They generally stick to that, but every once in a while they'll have an oddball one.
Yeah. Yeah, like a mockbuster to Neighbors called Alpha House.
Oh, is that what that was?
Which is, yes, they are targeting the same crowd who are watching stupid movies, but I do tend to focus towards the horrors and sci-fi. So. Right. But.
Oh, that's great. That's absolutely great. Yeah, thumbs up Asylum. I know people don't like them, but I think they're great.
Yeah, keep on going. I want to see more.
Eventually, I'm sure. Do you have anything more to say about the Asylum?
No, you can continue.
All right, I'm going to jump on with mine before I get to the, I guess, quote-unquote more controversial stuff, but I'm a big fan of the movie Superman Returns from 2006, which, wow, I can't believe that movie's 10 years old. But
with some Brandon Ruth action going on?
Yeah, is it Brandon Ruth or Brandon Routh? I've always thought it was Routh, but I've heard it pronounced Ruth, so I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about it.
Brandon, if you're listening, which I know you are, feel free to drop us a line and confirm that for us.
Yeah.
But I acknowledge it's not probably the strongest of movies out there. There are some gaping holes in its plot and all that, but I just like it. My anticipation for the film at the time was at a fever pitch. I saw the movie at the IMAX theater on opening day. I was just really stoked for seeing this movie, and the movie did not disappoint me. I'm saddened that we won't
a lot of people hated this movie, right?
They did, yeah. And I guess for some legitimate reasons, some people thought Brandon Routh and Kate Bosworth were miscast. Some people thought that the film was really, really slow. Like it's nearly 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of action in it.
I remember that, yeah.
And the action that is in it is can be debated that it was almost dated for the time when the movie came out. For example, Superman really doesn't get into any sort of like throwdown fight. He's mostly like lifting things and saving the day, doing super feats, so to speak. So I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I don't know. I liked it. Maybe, I don't know. I enjoyed the film.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that, because I liked it a lot. I mean, it wasn't, it was no Henry Cavill or like Avengers type action movie, but it was just, it was a bit dramatic in the sense that it's more of a drama rather than an action movie. But I thought he filled that suit out awesome. I mean, he looked awesome as Superman, and just like a classic Superman, not taking it in too far away from what I imagine Superman to look like.
Yeah, Brandon Routh what played a good Superman and a good Clark Kent. I wish we got to see his Clark Kent a little bit more, because it looked like he was, while he played the role as awkward, it wasn't like the dopey, nerdy Christopher Reeve type Clark Kent. Even though he was channeling Christopher Reeve, it wasn't to that comical extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saddened that we never got an actual sequel, because I would have liked to see what he would have continued to bring to the role. I do feel that had the movie been an origin film, that Superman, that Brandon Routh and Keith Bosworth would have been better received as their respective characters, because the characters were supposed to be established, and they were just way young for the roles that they were actually trying to play. So I think that was a thing that people didn't quite like so much. But I like the film. I haven't watched it in a while. I need to throw that movie in. I like that one, and I personally acknowledge the faults, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I forgot that it was 2.5 hours long.
It's a real long movie. It didn't feel long. I remember that's the first film I saw in 3D too. Yeah. Before 3D was like the thing.
I saw Avatar in 3D. That was my first movie, which was awesome in 3D.
That's all I got to say about Superman Returns. What's next on your list?
It's kind of a parallel track in this, just a different genre, but it's Full Moon Film Features along with generic slashers. Okay. Full Moon Features is a production company that makes one of my favorite series ever, Puppet Master. It's made all of the Puppet Masters, including the new one that's going to be released sometime this year.
Is Lance Hendrickson in that one?
I don't think Lance Hendrickson. He is in one of the Full Moon Features. I forgot which one. I don't know about that, actually.
No Lance Hendrickson, no deal from me.
But they make really weird ones, like that involve the Ginger Dead Man, starring Gary Busey. Demonic Toys, Killjoy. Killjoy is awesome, and I would love to see. Killjoy is like this demonic clown who, it was just like an awful movie, difficult to get through the first one, but then after that it really picked up a higher production value, and you started to see, because they also like to swerve these things in between. Like Ginger Dead Man is its own series, Killjoy is its own series, and you wouldn't be surprised to see Killjoy versus the Ginger Dead Man.
Did they do that?
No, not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I remember I did a blog post on King Bong, Evil Bong 4, and I got like 4 views of it total, because people just don't get into these, because they are really bad, but not in the sense that they're like amateur films, like just a whole bunch of teens that are filming this. Mm-hmm. It's still a movie. I don't know. There's not a whole lot in defense of this, except that it may have something to do with the first Puppet Master was one of the first horror movies that I ever saw. Puppet Master and The Frighteners were like the 2 horror movies that I watched that really had an impact on me, or that I could watch without that I could watch at an early age. So that may have had something to do with that. And so yeah, Full Moon Films and generic slashers, in the sense that I've said it before, you take 5 teens, put them in a cabin in the woods, and I will watch it. It's a simple formula for me that a lot of filmmakers feel like they need to do something. They need to, switch up the story, do something different to really make it a little bit different than the one that was just released last month. But I don't. I feel like those small changes are sufficient, and I would watch whatever it is as long as it's got 5 teens and an isolated environment.
So you like the classic and true style. That no need to like change it up too much. Just have the 5 teens kill them in hopefully interesting ways, and you're satisfied.
Yeah, no reason to bring in the little Asian dead child who's creeping around, or bring in some werewolf. I mean, I'll take the werewolf, but you don't need to keep on throwing these things in just to make it different.
Hmm.
I'll watch it. You don't have to convince me. But I think I'm in a pretty easy horror movie. Easy
You're easy to
horror
please.
Yeah, exactly. So,
No, I dig. I
yeah.
totally dig.
Have you ever seen any of the Full Moon films?
No, I have not.
Oh man.
Sorry. I
No.
failed you. I'm not the biggest guy into horror, so I don't actually actively seek that stuff out.
Yeah.
But I got nothing against it. It's just, not my cup of tea, so to speak.
Yeah. It's the Doctor Strange trailer was just released.
Yes.
Have you seen it yet?
I have, yes.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Um, it seemed okay, I guess. I don't know much about Doctor Strange. I don't have an opinion. I think Benedict Cumberbatch's American accent sounds weird, but other than that, I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, the reason I bring it up is because Full Moon Films did a movie called Doctor Mordred.
Oh, with was it
Jeffrey Combs?
Yes. I saw. It's funny you mention that because after the Doctor Strange trailer came out, somehow I saw a YouTube trailer for that movie, and I was like, "Wow, this is like the exact same thing."
Yeah. I've been trying to get my hands on this for a long time, and I've never seen it. But because I love Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah. In Reanimator is like one of my favorites that he's in. And
Jeffrey Combs played two reoccurring characters on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
yeah,
And what was great was when the show was wrapping up in its last year, they were trying to wrap up all the storylines. In one episode, he played both characters.
yeah,
Just the way how the episodes were done, and he played Alien, so he was under makeup, but it was just kind of funny how he was like doubly in the episode.
What a guy! He's great.
Thumbs up, Jeffrey Combs. I did with that Dr. Mordred. I did when I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, okay, I need to learn more about this. And
Yeah,
apparently, how the story goes is the guy who produced it. He had the film rights to Doctor Strange. And
yeah,
so he was going to make a Doctor Strange movie, but it got caught up in, development and this and that and legal wrangling, and to the point where his option to make the film expired. So he took the story, the script, he changed like some names around and made it Dr. Mordred.
yeah.
So there you go.
So if you ever come across it, get it for me.
Oh, totally. I kind of want to see it too after I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, oh, this looks so bad, but so awesome.
All right, let's move along.
All right, is it my turn?
Yeah.
My number 2 on this list of things that I like, but people on the internet seem to hate a lot. Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the Tate. I think he is a very underrated actor.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, his career started not under the greatest scenarios. I think his first major big film was Step Up, followed by a little bit later with the first G.I. Joe film. And they weren't the greatest films, but I think he's since moved on and has proven himself in such films as the 21 Jump Street films, which are hilarious. Channing Tatum needs to do more comedy because he is great at it. And the film Magic Mike,
Yeah.
which allegedly is based in part on his experiences.
True story.
Well, I guess true story in name only, because I guess from what I from what I've been told, Channing Tatum was a male stripper before he moved into modeling and acting and all that.
Yeah.
And so they were based on, I guess, some of his experiences while he was stripping.
Mm.
And Magic, I don't know, have you seen Magic Mike?
There was one night where the girl was away that I watched like a little bit of it. It was on TV, and I was really interested in it, but there was something else on that was more interesting.
Everyone likes to mock it because it's the male stripper film. It's legitimately a good movie.
Yeah.
It has the hook of being talking about male strippers, which I guess is somewhat unusual in mainstream media. But I honestly think it is the best film of summer 2012, hands down. Better than Avengers and better than Dark Knight Rises. It was directed by Steven Soderbergh, who is a proven pedigree,
Right.
making excellent films. And it was just a good movie. I like films. I like films like that, and Tatum was great in it. So I haven't had a chance to see Magic Mike 2 yet, but
Isn't that just Magic Mike XXL?
oh yeah, Magic
Okay,
Double
okay.
XL. Yeah, that's what they call it. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen the sequel, but I want to. I haven't gotten around to it.
No, I can see where you're coming from. The internet does hate Channing Tatum, because he hasn't done a whole lot of the stuff that would like revitalize his role and make people take him seriously.
See,
Because,
that's where I disagree. I think he's done plenty to do that with specifically.
well, not like taking the front runner role of a film like say Chris Pratt has, where he just
Okay.
done something that people are like, okay, Channing Tatum is on the same level as like Leonardo DiCaprio now. He can do this. But yeah, he has done a lot of movies, which there hasn't been anything wrong with.
I think you're absolutely right. Channing Tatum hasn't had like a big mainstream movie where he's front and center, like a big summer blockbuster, since I guess G.I. Joe, and that kind of bombed.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the Jump Street movies. Those are comedies. It's not quite the same thing.
Right, and people aren't going to take him as seriously when he's,
right,
side by side with Jonah Hill.
Yeah, exactly. He does have apparently upcoming doing the Gambit movie, which is a spin-off of the X-Men series, which I'm wondering, since Hugh Jackman is stepping down from being Wolverine, they're trying to position this character as the new Wolverine stand-in.
Mm-hmm.
That's been having some production trouble, so who knows when that'll actually come out. But that might be the biggest thing for him, to have a mainstream starring role in a big budget summer flick or something.
Yeah. What do you think of him as Gambit?
Fine. I think he'll do great. Honestly, I really do.
I think he might be a little bit too pretty for the role.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I have complete confidence that they can do it, but that's just what I'm seeing right now.
I know he'll be way better than Taylor Kitsch, who played Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh yeah, he did have that small role.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody was real excited to see him in there, and then we were like, "That's it."
Yeah, he was awful in that movie.
Yeah.
And where's Taylor Kitsch now? Nowhere. He went to Mars and got booed out of high society. Take that, Taylor Kitsch. Anyway, I like Channing Tatum. I think he gets undue hate. There you go.
This will be a short one, but Jean-Claude Van Damme. I feel like internet is really turning on this guy.
Are they? I haven't noticed that.
Because he is getting old, and he can't really do what he could do that he could do before. And it's a shame, because I think in his old age he really brings something different to the screen. Whereas Last Karate Kid.
Oh, with Jackie Chan?
Yeah. I felt that was really bringing it full circle, where you see Jackie Chan as the young guy in his early movies, and then you see him all the way come around to teaching
as
the other
the
guys.
mentor.
Yeah, but I doubt that little Will Smith is ever going to be as cool as Jackie Chan is.
Or Ralph Macchio, for that matter.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, he was in Expendables 2, wasn't he?
Right.
He was the best part of that movie.
I know. I loved seeing him in that, but he didn't really have. Well, actually, I guess nobody had too big of a role because there were so many people in this, and you have so many people. Everybody has a small role.
Yeah. Although him being the villain, he stood out among the rest. Like if he was just part of Stallone's team, he would have blended in the background.
Right.
But he was like the spotlight. Yeah. And he was great in that movie. I love how when he kills the Hemsworth kid, how he stabs him, but then he does the roundhouse kick to put the knife in him. It's like so unnecessary, but so awesome.
Yeah. Playing the villain in that one is kind of foreign ground to him because he's usually the protagonist in the films. But yeah, I mean, I think he needs a role that really solidifies him as I am old now. I don't need to be keeping up with all of these younger guys. And I think he's kind of given that. He's leading in Scott Adkins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I feel like
I wouldn't call him an up and coming guy. I think he's pretty established at this point.
Right, but I feel like Van Damme is really bringing him in to say that Scott Adkins is as good as I am, and that you should give him the same amount of respect that you give me. I just feel like everybody hates him, Van Damme, partially because he doesn't really do a whole lot of stuff that's really, really good. Because most of his films are just like straight to DVD.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah, and...
Well, I don't know. I like him. I got nothing against him. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I've loved him since I was a real little boy, and there was one point where I owned every single one of his VHS movies.
Well, it's got to be VHS. That's great.
Right, because when I was younger, I could just get my hands on all of these cheap VHS films, and he didn't have a whole lot at that time. Well, that's an understatement. And it just got to the point where I just couldn't keep up with all of them because it was like sometimes where you're just like releasing them every single year, and I was like, I can't afford these. Not that they're expensive or anything, but so what's next on your list?
Kind of along the same lines as you, I'm going to talk about another actor here.
No.
Shia LaBeouf. Was it Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah,
Shia.
I call it LaBeouf.
LaBeouf.
Because I know that's not right, but it's awesome.
I don't mind this guy. I actually like him in the movies I've seen him in. Mm-hmm. I think the internet crucifies this guy. They hate him with everything. And I have a theory on why they do. In the mid-2000s, Shia was in a ridiculous amount of movies. I'm just looking here from 2005 to like 2012. He was just in like 3-4 films a year, which is an insane amount. And they were like, a lot of them were high-profile movies, such as the Transformers, such as Indiana Jones, such as Wall Street 2, Disturbia, which is underrated. The animated film Surf's Up. Mm-hmm. And he played like almost the same role again and again and again and again, where he played this sort of neurotic, geeky every guy who goes on this crazy wild adventure and gets the hot girl in the end. And I think because Shia sort of acted like the nerdy kid, which is where a lot of these, particularly the Transformer films, were geared to. Like he was those the characters he played were those movies' audiences. I think there was a little bit of jealousy at play because no one like that would realistically ever get someone like Megan Fox. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of that at play too. But I like him. I don't mind his shtick. And then within the last few years, where he's gotten absolutely crazy with like wearing bags over his head and trying to plagiarize, allegedly.
Did you watch the live stream of him watching his own movies?
No, but I heard about it.
Oh my gosh, it was great. I watched a little bit of it, and I just love it when people do that kind of shit. It's just
I feel like he's becoming his generation's Nicolas Cage. We're just like doing crazy things, and we're going to end up loving him for it.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, he made a surprise appearance at C2E2, and I was so disappointed that that I wasn't at the right spot at the right time to actually meet him. And by surprise appearance, I mean he wasn't like at a panel or something. That he like popped up in the artist alley, like trying to sell his homemade comic book or something like that.
Yeah.
And I guess from secondhand accounts from people who did get to see it, I guess he was really cool, really friendly with fans, willing to take pictures and all of that, and it was just really, really cool. And the internet might hate him, but I give him a thumbs up.
I agree that Shia LaBeouf is awesome, and yet he does have quite a bit of quirk to him.
Oh yeah,
but he is really proven himself. I mean, have you seen Lawless?
No, it's been on my Netflix thing for years. I've not had a chance to sit down. I want to so bad.
Yeah, that was an awesome movie.
I hope it's still on Netflix.
It really revitalized what I thought of him. Part of it was that he did the live stream of him watching his own movies. And it's just stuff like that really hits me. And I'm like, I like this guy.
Alrighty. What's your next one?
It is Ancient Aliens. And people who talk about aliens are ancient astronaut theorists. And
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's probably aliens. That guy's hair is amazing.
I love Giorgio Tsoukalos, who is the producer or creator of the History Channel's Ancient Aliens. And I feel like people are only watching this for like comedic value. And I'm not saying like I believe in this. I just get a lot of entertainment through it. It's like merging science fiction with history, because we're talking about like ancient Egyptians, and then we're talking about aliens. And I know it's not real, but it's just fun to watch. It's entertainment. You're not in really either ballpark. It's not like strictly science fiction, and it's not strictly historical fact, but it's still fun. And I feel like people just know Giorgio, as fantastic as he is.
As like a quack.
He's fun. He has a lot to talk about, and I really want to see more of him. And quite often I'll search the internet to see if there's any interviews or anything like that with him, because he really knows his shit.
I haven't watched the show to really form an opinion on it, but I don't get up in arms about the guy. I mean, whatever. All right, for my last thing on my list for things that the internet hates and I don't mind or I like, the Twilight series.
Yeah.
This is probably the most controversial thing I have on my list here. And let me make one thing very clear. I don't think Twilight is good necessarily. I think the first movie in particular is awful.
But K-Stu is awesome, right?
Oh yeah, I don't mind Kristen Stewart. I think she's top notch, and she's not like gonna blow the Academy Awards away, but yeah, she's good at what she does. She's underrated, and Robert Pattinson's okay, and I like Jacob. I can't think of his name.
Taylor
Lautner. I like Taylor Lautner. He just needs to pick better movies. And Anna Kendrick's in the Twilight films, so that automatically gets a point for me. But they're cheesy, they're dumb, but they're entertaining.
Yeah, they are fun.
Yeah, they're fun. And I think when these movies came out, people just like to hate on it because they appealed to the teenager girl crowd. I'm thinking, who cares if it appeals to teenagers? Why can't they have a movie for them? And so I don't mind the Twilight films. I do think it's a little weird that so many adult women, like moms and stuff, got into these films the way they did. It was a little weird. There's a funny internet meme that has a bunch of 40-something women with Twilight shirts and screaming and holding up signs that say, like, Team Edward, and the caption on this says, if this was 40-year-old men screaming about 18-year-old women, someone would call the police.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, that part's a little weird, but, it's entertaining.
Yeah, and it's I would much rather watch Twilight over like ABC Family movies or TV shows like that, because there is actually a story behind these, and it does have it has created a universe that is fun to follow, and apply the logic to in a different way. Because I mean, I don't think anybody has ever seen a sparkling vampire.
No, exactly. Yeah.
As stupid as it is, it adds a little bit of creativity.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things I did like about the Twilight series. Like, everyone likes to mock the sparkling vampires, but they did the whole mythology of behind Twilight. Actually, it's unique for vampire fiction. I think it brought something new to the table. Like, they have, like, different vampires have different powers, like they're the X-Men or something. And I thought, okay, that's like a neat little play on how, like, the vampires have, like, the hypnotism.
Or like different species of vampire. Because vampires have been around since movies started.
Yeah.
Movies were black and white. And every single type of vampire movie has been done, and it's kind of difficult to make to
do a new spin on it. Yeah.
Right. And to really put, like, a hardcore teen twist onto it and still maintain some sort of logical universe. Pretty good.
Yeah, and a lot of people complaining that, they're the sympathetic vampires. Well, yeah, the good guys are, but the other vampires, the ones that are led by, was it Michael Sheen, who, they're like that, those Roman vampires who...
Oh, yeah.
like, they're, like, evil beyond belief. So, I mean, they have, like, the bloodsuckers in there as well. So, I don't know. And also, it's 2016. It's time to get over the Twilight hate. Let's move on. Twilight hate was so 2008.
Ready to move on?
Yes.
The last topic of the night, right? Because you are spent.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about this for quite some time. So
my last topic is Andrew WK.
Now I have no idea who this is.
Right. This is not a movie, music, or comic related thing, but it still is culture. Andrew WK is a musician who sings a lot about partying. He is an inspirational speaker, saying, like, live your life to the fullest. Everything is a party if you put your mind to it. And when he says party, he's not talking about, like, drugs or alcohol. He's just talking about having fun, making Saturday nights worth it, make every single night a Saturday night, just have lots of fun. Trending in the news is his proclamation that he has created the Party, which is a political party in contrast to the Democratic or Republican Party, where it's just all about Andrew WK's philosophy on, I hate to hammer it in, but a party about partying. It's ridiculous. Yes, it is. But I find Andrew WK to be very inspirational. He's when I'm working out, I listen to Andrew WK a lot, but just because his songs are so energetic. And people don't really like him because, yes, this is a stupid thing to do. Because he's taking himself seriously when he's talking about this party, because I think he's honestly going to try to run for presidency.
Like, not this time, though, is he?
I don't know. People are saying it's stupid. Yes, it is. But I still love the guy, and I just think he's, like, overly optimistic about everything. So, have you ever heard of this guy?
No, never heard of him.
Okay. But he's been around for quite a few years with a lot of party songs. I listened to him when he first came out because his first album was his if anybody looks it up, it's just his face, and it looks like he hit himself with a frying pan, and his nose is bleeding, and his mouth is bleeding. It just looks so hardcore, and as a guy in high school or junior high, whenever I bought it, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
How old is this guy?
Oh, he's 30s, 40s, I would say. He always wears the same exact outfit, dirty white pants and a dirty white t-shirt. And he's got long black hair that just looks greasy, but I love this guy. They don't just hate him because he started this political party. One of his most popular YouTube videos is him getting booed off a Gathering of the Juggalos stage.
The Juggalos.
Yeah, he did this performance there, and he just did. Either they didn't accept him, he wasn't doing a very good job, he just got booed off stage. But he came back up from it, and he was like, yeah, I didn't do a very good job that night. But he keeps on partying afterwards, and he's an inspiration to us all.
I'm glad you like him. I'm still wrapping my mind around him at the moment.
Yeah. You have any closing thoughts on things we like that everyone else hates?
I don't think so. I think we covered it quite well. We talked about why we like these things. We talked about where other people may not like them and why they're wrong. But I think I don't know. I think we covered our case good. I'm glad we did this because I think it's fair and balanced, as everyone likes to say. So it'll be a good contrast to our previous episode. So I think this is good. What about you? Any final thoughts?
No. It was I like talking about things that I like, even if people don't like them. I guess that will conclude the latest edition to the all-new CultureCast. It's been a pleasure, and until next week, signing off is the Gorehound and
Nick. You've been listening to the all-new CultureCast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's CultureCast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all-new CultureCast, a saltwater production, copyright 2016.
He recently completed the Lego Ghostbusters set, isn't that right?
I did, yes.
I was at the mall, and I happened to see that they had this in the Lego store mall, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, and I was really looking forward to seeing that. Getting back to the reason that we went to the mall is because there were a few articles about this type of Build-A-Bear that Build-A-Bear they had. Did you hear about that?
No.
The Build-A-Bear. They had an Ewok.
It's like a mini Build-A-Bear.
It was a regular Build-A-Bear, but Wicket the Ewok.
Now that you say that, I am aware of this.
So I went to the mall this weekend wanting to create a Build-A-Bear with this Ewok. It would be in my new car, something it's something fun for my car, right? Because I wanted something that just personalizes it. So we went to Woodfield Mall, and I went into Build-A-Bear, and it was just the most awkward thing ever. Because given I haven't been in Build-A-Bear in years, I don't even know if I've ever made one as a child. But it's like straight up kids' factory. I felt so awkward. I felt so stupid. Because I was just so fascinated because they have Star Wars Build-A-Bears. I was like, oh, so cool. So I go in there, and when the kids go in there, they go through this line, and then this guy fills up their Build-A-Bear, and they're like, make a wish. And they put like a little heart in there, and they sew it up. And I was like, I can't do that. Maybe, I don't know. But I thought that was kind of relevant because it's been on the internet quite a bit. Because people are saying that this Ewok is just like the creepiest piece of shit ever. Because it's got like these two front teeth that are just like popping out. And